Hi there. My name is Sky Nicholson, and I am on the worship associate team. Um, I scraped myself up off the couch floor. I don't know. I don't know which one I was on to be here today. I don't have much to say to you, but I wanted to share some opening words that I come from this book, Clarity and Connection by Young Pueblo. Meet those you encounter with genuine compassion. Live with intentional gentleness. Cultivate peace with your hands and words. Be generous with your kindness. Allow others to share in the bounty of a heart that dedicates itself to goodwill. These are marvels of the human spirit, actions that are most easily taken by healed hearts. Not only do these ways of being help our minds settle into inner peace, but they create safer spaces in a world that is always moving in and out of turmoil. To bring such goodness into the world will benefit many and bring its own countless rewards.
So go ahead and have a seat. First, I want to tell you, I have a friend. Some of you may have heard you might get to meet a new friend today. Not Wilbur. Their name is actually Jet Pig. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in a second. And it's kind of an acronym, which is something that helps us remember things that we really want to remember, but sometimes might be hard to recall. So before we meet and help our friend Jet Pig out, I thought we'd talk a little bit. Sometimes if you maybe are with your friends or colleagues and they go, "You're a uni-whatty? A Unitarian Universalist?" That's a lot. It's a big thing to say, isn't it? It's a whole mouthful. And then sometimes they go, "Well, what do you believe?" And you're like, "Okay, there's a whole big spectrum here." And so one of the easy things I say sometimes is we don't have a doctrine or a creed, but we have a covenant. And then they're intrigued. Covenant. Does anybody know what a covenant is? Okay, I do have a ringer up here if you would like to participate. Okay, what's a covenant, Reverend Nick?
It's like promises we make to each other, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Now, do we always want to keep our promises? Yes. Do we sometimes mess up and our promises aren't honored? Yes. And does that mean we're terrible people? No. It means we go, how can I do better? How can I live into that promise? What do I need to do? Well, we have had principles for a really, really long time, longer than Reverend Nick has been on the earth, actually. That's quite a while, isn't it? He's young, but that's still quite a while. And times have changed and times are changing. And all of us in this room are learning and growing. And when we're learning and growing, we come to communities like this and they help us live into our promises. Well, now we've been talking about shifting from principles into values. And what I've heard from a lot of people, "Oh, I'm really worried I'm not going to remember that. I'm worried I'm going to forget." And I thought this might be a really helpful way to explain the proposed values to everybody and also help us to remember with the help of a cute friend, a la Jet Pig. So each of those letters stand for something. And I've been calling them with gender neutral pronouns. They, them are their pronouns. And they have a cool little backpack. And you see where the idea jet might come from. The little backpack. Backpacks are great because what do we put in them? Not just stuff. What kind of stuff? Important stuff. School stuff, things you need to learn and grow, right? And to help remember so that you have the right supplies when you need them. Okay, so some friends from our UUCAN, our Courageous Action group, are going to help us. But first, do you see this little clear pocket? Can everybody see the little clear pocket? Ooh, I think there is something in the Wonderbox that we could put in the front that would really help us remember. What is it? What is it?
A heart.
A heart, and a heart that has the word love on it, because love is at the center of everything we do. And when we talk about love, we're not talking about the kissy, huggy type of love that makes us feel better when we have scraped knees and boo-boos, right? Or that we have in our family, but really big love that we can build and build and build on, and that can transform the world into the place we want it to be. And so when we're saying love at the center, love is not a finite resource. It's not like pizza. We don't run out of slices to give out, right? The more we love, the more we grow, the more love we have to give. And love can hold us together. And it's at the center of these values. So I think you're going to hear from a lot of these people later today, but I thought I'd set us up a little bit. Dick, I think you work with Green Sanctuary and you have something good for us. Oh, can someone get this from Dick? Let's see. What is that? An earth. And this makes us think about interdependence, how we're all connected, how we have to restore our relationships with the earth, how we have to protect it together and care for it and be good stewards of it. So the covenant we make is to make it sustainable and to repair any harm and to prevent further damage. Do we agree to that? Thumbs up? All right. Our next one, I think Reverend Nick has. And Reverend Nick, what do you have? A bridge. You want to put that in there for Jed? And bridges are great because they help us to connect to one another. And that makes me think, and the reason I had Reverend Nick do that one is he himself is a bridge builder. And I think a lot of us in this room are bridge builders. And pluralism, because we have very open minds, don't we? That there are many ways to be sacred beings and to think about how we all might believe different things, but we can all appreciate and respect each other's beliefs. And so we covenant to learn from one another. Does that sound good? All right. Our next person, Cynthia, I think is going to talk more later about justice, but I think she has a really helpful thing. What do you have, Cynthia?
Justice happens.
Vote. Ooh, does everybody have a voice? And we have democratic process. And well, hopefully you have democratic process. Sometimes, there might be, rules and you don't have a choice, but like at home or for safety. But you have right to say, I need my voice heard. My voice matters. Their voice matters. Their voice matters. And I'm going to make sure that everyone's voice has an opportunity to be heard. So a voter registration card, which will be here before you know it, believe it or not. I think Kate has something helpful for us to think about, how we adapt to the changing world and how we covenant to transform. Oh, let me make sure everyone can see it. What do we have? Butterfly. That transformation is a really delicate process, right? We have to be tender. It's kind of sometimes a little messy, right? As we transform. And so we covenant to grow spiritually and ethically, and that we're never complete and we're never perfect. All right. I think we're going to hear more from Patty Wade later, but we've got Sunny, who also helps with the youth at Hot Meals. Oh, what do you have, Sunny? Oh, snacks are always needed to kind of keep fueling you in addition to the love. So generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. And as I said, sometimes with our Hot Meals groups, our outreach that we do in the community, we covenant to share our faith and our resources, and that allows us to be in good relationships with each other. Let's see, there's one more. Equity. That's a really big word. Does anybody know what equity means? Okay, I think Kate might be able to help us out. Kate, do you have something? Oh, Holly's got it. Great. It's a coin purse in case people didn't see. What goes in there? Money. Money is important, but money is not the only resource we have. Sometimes we share our buildings, sometimes we share our skills, our expertise, but money is also important. And everybody has that right to grow, to flourish, to be who they can be. And they have inherent worth and dignity. And we have to use our time, our wisdom, our attention, and our money to build accessible. Does anybody know what that means? Accessible? Yeah. You can participate. Like we have a ramp here. If someone wants to be able to participate in leading worship and needs that ramp, we've made it accessible, making sure it's inclusive. So when we think about those things together, I think our friend Jet Pig is very well empowered. You want to help? Let's see. It's a two-person job. Powered by love, our friend Jet Pig is ready to go out into the world with everything they need. And I'll invite you to, after service is over and after you hear from our amazing speakers today, there's a bulletin board out there with hearts taped all around the edge. And if you think about the ways that you can engage with justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, or generosity by being centered in love, write them on the board and put them up there. And that way we all might find new ways to live into our shared values. And we'll sing our kids out to their classes while you all stay in worship. Perfect.
Hi, Kathy Caldy again. So I wanted to give a little history, then current, and then future look. I'm chair of Global Action, and when I joined UUCCI in the 90s, a longtime member advised me to not tell anyone at work, at BCSC, that I was a Unitarian Universalist, as it would not be well received. So a few years later, when staff knew that I was a good person, this was a little confusing for them. So the principal asked me about our church. I told her that there are all faiths and people, agnostics, Christians, pagans, Buddhists, atheists, Baha'i, Native Americans, and others. Her first question was, "Don't you fight?" I replied, "No, we listen to each other and learn." So now fast forward 10 years, and I've been social responsibility chair for a while with the support of Liz Nolan-Graven, my social action inspiration. Liz is awesome, as you all know. A Columbus resident asked what church I attended. So with a bit of apprehension, I said the Unitarian Universalist congregation. Her response was, "Isn't that the church that does good works?" Well, I was surprised and proud to be a UU. People in the community that had a non-conventional project or program needing support or funds would present at our meetings knowing that UUCCI supported courageous action. From a walk through time exhibit about evolution displayed at IUPUC to the Gay Straight Alliance, starting the Polydor Walk for Literacy in Haiti, supporting Planned Parenthood and the Frank and Caroline Souza Fund for Undocumented Workers, UUCCI took a stand, provided visibility and money for groups and projects that were not always viewed in a positive light here in conservative Southern Indiana. Back then, the Social Responsibility Committee was the umbrella for social action at the church. The group looked at local, state, national, and global issues. We considered UUCCI areas like Green Sanctuary, welcoming congregation, and community needs, along with humanitarian and social justice issues to address the varied interest and concerns of our congregation. Seeing that Columbus didn't have a Friday hot meal site, Liz and I started one in collaboration with First Pres. Many congregants have been involved in this endeavor over the years. So UUCCI should be proud of its social action. It's courageous action. In 2017, we're getting a little closer now, Interim Minister Mary Moore asked me to break social responsibility into teams to increase the visibility and the participation, thus creating community outreach, welcoming courageous action, green sanctuary, global action / UUSC, and hot meal sites. This definitely increased the involvement in social action. So now, on to Global Action UUSC currently. Global Action supports the Kitale Children's Home in Kenya. We have supplied bedding, mosquito nets, fruit trees and fencing, a solar water pump, seeds for crops, facility upgrades and educational assistance, and many other things. Pastor Kimawachi has many needs to provide for the children in his care. Kiva microloans for entrepreneurs in third world countries allow many to have a better life, and we have given funds to over a dozen individuals. Supporting the Powder Walk Run adult literacy in Haiti has been a part of our social action too. The UU Service Committee is a voice for human rights and social justice, working with grassroots organizations who resist oppression and violence against marginalized communities, displacement due to climate change, and people who are forced to migrate. One of its main functions is guests at your table, which some of you have taken home the boxes or collection envelopes. They do this through Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, and then have stories of hope to try to teach us and our children more about it. So if you have a chance and you've taken one of these or want to give, please try to turn it in by the end of the month. And now into the future, it's my last part. So I would like to see continued support of our current programs. That would be fantastic. New and creative fundraising ideas and a biannual super salad Sunday for Kitale, new Kiva loans, and a multi-generational team to walk for Polydor over the holiday weekend. It's kind of strange. It falls right during, Halloween. And these are some goals. A UUSC Service Sunday on their human rights global action initiatives is a possibility. A far off dream of mine, since Nick came, this has been something that I would love to do, is for UUCCI to become a UU partner church with a UU congregation in Transylvania. That would create shared cultural understanding, shared ideas, and it would form lasting relationships. It would be kind of cool and interesting. Do you have ideas for Global Action UUSC? We need new members who are interested in acting globally, dealing with displacement due to climate change, migrants, and violence to marginalized communities here and abroad, along with all the different possibilities that are out there. Let's talk. Thank you.
The expression courageous action might feel a little scary to some here. I'm Cynthia Scott, a member of the UUCCI Racial Justice Team. I have been experiencing a small level of courage within the sphere of racial justice action. My story might give you the courage and incentive to take similar actions. First, know that I'm not talking about risking life and limb. Maybe at some point in the future that will become a factor, but for myself over the past few years, I have not experienced fear of physical harm. I consider all my involvement to have been a series of baby steps taken in the form of education and attending organization events. It all happened in 2 phases of my life as circumstances permitted. Phase 1 was education. My formal education at UUPUC covered many race and bigotry topics via the literary canon, which now includes important Black authors. A course in anthropology explained Darwinian evolution and race as a social construct. A course in Indiana history included the Great Migration and the subject of lynching. Academic education took me from vague liberal leanings to specific facts and theories, thus exposing me to more meaningful perspectives. Phase 2, for me anyway, is volunteering. Last year, I began volunteering to help with social justice activities. I'm a member of the Bartholomew County NAACP and serve on their education committee. This committee plans and promotes events for Black and Black biracial middle and high school students and their families. We offer scholarships, school supplies, field trips to universities, information about education assistance, and social activities to promote a sense of belonging and connection. Also last year, I joined the UUCCI racial justice team. Some of you may remember that UU members participated in City Hall rallies a few years ago, such as the one supporting DACA students. In the past decade, the racial justice team has promoted reading and discussion of key books about race topics such as white supremacy, white fragility, and the new Jim Crow. In October, we organized a walking tour of historic Black neighborhoods in Indianapolis. Closer to home, 2 members faithfully volunteer their time as tutors at the Columbus Enrichment Program on Saturday mornings. More would be welcome. Currently, we are offering another thought-provoking educational experience, Race, the Power of an Illusion, a 3-part video documentary showing next Saturday, the 20th. There is still time to sign up for it today. Thus, my racial justice experience, which might also be yours, it centers education, awareness, and helping others. The racial justice team invites you to join us in taking small steps of courageous action like these towards making a more peaceful, harmonious, and just community here in Columbus, Indiana.
Well, my name's Dick Boyce, and I'm the chairman of the Environmental Action Team. As Kathy pointed out, there was a point where everything was under an umbrella, and then they split out back in 2017. And at that point, we took the green sanctuary piece and focused it as just one thing. There's many individuals who've worked on this over the years. And getting the Green Sanctuary initial certification was a significant milestone. But things have changed a lot since then. While the building that you're in right now was initially designed to be climate friendly, we've added a lot of different things to it over the years. And it is the only church in Bartholomew County that basically has the solar panels, and that augments our electrical capabilities. When we look at the Green Sanctuary piece, we've done amazing things within our own congregation and the surrounding area. But the real push for us lately has been to try to go ahead and work to get a climate plan for the city of Columbus. It seems kind of unbelievable that the city, with the #1 employer having the focus of climate change as their one key, doesn't have a plan. And so we worked with a variety of different organizations, Commons, the city, CDP, which is a measuring organization, Heritage Fund, Energy Matters, IU, Landmark Columbus, St. Bartholomew's, and Sierra Club to go ahead and try to get that. And in that journey, we actually got to the point where we did get the city to go ahead and submit to CDP to go ahead and have baseline data. But unfortunately, they didn't fill in a lot of the blanks on the report. And so consequently, at that time, they decided not to go forward because the grade that they had received from CDP was not one that they wanted to publicize to the community. So we're working, to try to go ahead and get that again. We hosted a environmental Mother Earth concert here after COVID, and bringing in Terry Hermanson. And we had Energy Matters, Winding Water Sierra Club, Sycamore Land Trust, and a variety of other organizations giving updates at that point. The focus that we've had this year, I think, is exceedingly interesting. We, through the Energy Matters organization, and 4 of us within UUCCI serve on that board, submitted a Solar for All project submission for $7.3 million out of the $180 million that was Solar for All for Indiana. We won't know the impact of that until late March or early April. But if that happens, the United Way Center and 320 homeowners within the East Columbus and Lincoln Family neighborhood would have the opportunity to go ahead and have reduced electric bills as a result of that. We are also working on Project 46, which is a project that is basically tying Bloomington, Nashville, and Columbus together to work with programs that have been identified by IDEM, that's in Indiana Department of Energy Management, to go ahead and work on that. And hopefully, if we could get both of those projects, then I think we would be assured to go ahead and make a major impact in the areas that we had identified when we went back and looked at the climate justice segment and the folks who really need help within Columbus. Within UUCCI, the youth has done a tremendous job in terms of helping us with the Green Sanctuary effort. This year, they went ahead and collected over 260 pounds of bottle caps and the tops, to go ahead and create a plastic bench, which is going to be outside, for that period. They also have started working with native seeds, milkweed, etc., and then they add them to our pollinator park and everything as soon as spring starts. And in June, we host a week-long, all-day interfaith campus with 50 children from the community, and they have their opportunity to go ahead and learn about native plants. We have Donna Stanley helping give them an aspect from Muscatatuck. And then we also have folks coming from the Utopia Wildlife to go ahead and give them insight there. So I think, generally speaking, what we would really like to see is more individuals working together with us to try to get the city movement, with our movement of Columbus to now being a second-class city. The focus is not totally on the mayor to make this decision. We do have some help from the city council, and we may get movement. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Patty Wade, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about hot meals. I thought I would start off just telling why I do hot meals. I really do believe in the power of food to nourish people and to bring people together. And hot meals just gives me an opportunity to be involved in that here in Columbus. The people who are members of our hot meals teams, when they prepare food as if they were preparing it for their own family. I feel like they use their family recipes. Marty might have some slides to show no. We have some slides somewhere. They might be out on the screen out there that show us serving food at the last meal that we served. And there's one slide of Carol serving her chicken and noodles, and they were the best chicken and noodles you've ever had. I don't know if it's her family recipe or not, but people do serve food that they would serve, like I said, to their own families. So we do it with love, with care, and we're very attentive to the needs of our particular clients there, or guests there. The hot meals people who come to eat are for the most part, people who do not have resources, cannot fix themselves healthy, fresh food, and don't really get that much of an opportunity to sit down as a group and eat with other people. So it provides that for all of them. And then for us who are preparing the food, and that's, you know, an enjoyable aspect too, working together with other people. So all around, it's a very, very rewarding opportunity to participate in and feel like you're bringing something to the community. And then, of course, kind of how Dick mentioned and Kathy too, about our younger members, people often, high school kids and teens and young UUs will come and help too. And not only, you know, does that feel like good for them, but the guests there really, really respond to being served by young people. They really appreciate it. And so that's another benefit of it. Now a little bit about the nuts and bolts of it. So we do it, UUs are committed to 9 Fridays a year. And the actual hours that you're there from 4 to 6 on the Friday evening when you're serving the food, you sometimes spend a few hours at home before making ham casserole or chicken and noodles or doing the shopping. And, you know, so there's some time involved in it. And we do have teams that we've been broken up into to work on it. But what we're thinking about doing for 2024 is having a list of all the people who are interested in volunteering, and then letting you know, like maybe 3 weeks or a month before the actual date, and see if you're able to participate. Really, we're going to try this route because it's hard for a lot of people right now to say, okay, on December 9th, I'll be able to do it. And then come December 9th, oh, they can't do it. So we're going to try just shorter notice on volunteering. And then another thing I wanted to mention is the Empty Bowls program, that's fundraiser that's coming up, because Empty Bowls actually supports all of the food pantries, 6 food pantries in the Bartholomew County area. So if you want to participate in that too, we need people to make soup, make bread, bake cookies, do desserts, help with the cleanup and the setup for that. So if that is something also that you'd like to do, then what I'm going to do is I have a trusty little sign up sheet. I'm going to if you're interested in participating and haven't before, just see me afterwards and I'll get your name and then I'll get your email. Seems like there was one other thing I was thinking about saying, but since I don't have it, I think we'll go with that.
Always leave them wanting more. Well, that's our time for today. No, we're going to just do a quick wrap up, and I want to share a little bit about what's after the service. So this term, you can. I can, you can, we can together is the theme of this service. And UUCAN is a newly founded support, part of this ongoing evolution that Kathy and so many have been a part of for decades. UUCAN is the UU Courageous Action Network that tries to support things that are going on administratively and through leadership development and coordination, and be responsive to the emerging things that are coming up in our community. And so you heard all these things. These are on-ramps right now, right after service, you can be involved in. And there are things that are emerging here in 2024, not emerging like as an issue in society. These have been issues for a long time, but emerging as an expressed topic of interest and focus, possibly for us. Last month, we had a social justice survey that went out, and about 30 people participated in that survey to talk about topic areas that you are passionate about, that you would want to help participate in and lead. And we have some data to show right now. So of the top I think there was like over a dozen different topics. You could mark more than one, of course. The top 3 topics chosen out of the 30 respondents are the following. We have reproductive rights, 25 out of 30, gun violence, 21 out of 30, and democracy and the fragility of democracy, 21 out of 30. These were the highest vote tallies, and possibly if you filled out that, you marked these, perhaps you didn't. And as a congregation and as UUCAN, Courageous Action Network, we want to find ways to support our congregational involvement in these areas, in addition to continuing to do the important work that is ongoing. So reproductive rights, gun violence, and democracy. These are 3 areas that obviously have some interchange among them in regards to policy or lack thereof. And these are things that perhaps are very much on our mind as we go into an election year. So in the absence of time, we are going to hold on these conversations until we relubricate your caffeinated hearts, or what is the term? I'm not sure. But we are going to come back, if you wish, if you have time, during coffee hour, after you get some coffee or something, to come back in here. We're going to break into 3 groups. Okay, we're going to break into 3 groups, should you come back in, to talk about reproductive rights in one group, gun violence and the elimination of gun violence, and democracy in the 3 groups. Okay. Now, you might struggle to figure out which group you want to go to, but you know what? It's great because you can't do it all. And the sooner we talk about, as Adrian said, always something and never perfect, always practicing, never perfect, something like that. That is what we need to work on together. So we are going to break up into those groups when we come back. And I really hope you will. We'll just make some small circles and talk a little bit during our coffee hour. Reproductive rights, gun violence, democracy at stake. Is anyone surprised possibly of any of these 3 being up there for you or for us? It is a joy to be in a congregation that is committed to courageous action, that recognizes we are not perfect. We will continue to practice. We'll continue to transform within, among, and beyond our congregation, knowing that yes, with one more step and one more act of love, we can and do make a difference in this world. May it be so, and amen.